a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, continuing to wait for a decision from the NBA on whether another suspension will be given to Warriors forward Draymond Green, ejected for a third time this season after a flagrant 2 foul last night when he swung and hit Sun center Yusuf Nurkic in the head while defending him, the league reviewing the incident. Last night marked just the 6th game back for Green from a 5-game suspension for putting Timberwolves center Rudy Gobert in a headlock. ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
They are 2-5 this year in games where he has been ejected or suspended. They are 3 games below 500. They are in 11th place. They have a $400 million payroll. Everybody knows this could be the last dance. And whether he's suspended for 5 games or 12 or whatever, he's hurting the team badly.
Brian Windhorst on Get Up. Patriots coach Bill Belichick today asked multiple times about a report owner Bob Kraft's decided not to bring him back next season, replied as you would expect him to. He's getting ready for Kansas City. The Patriots do host the Chiefs on Sunday. The NFL owners today voting to award Super Bowl 61 to Los Angeles in 2027.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you why Kevin Stefanski is the coach of the year, and it's not even close. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's official.
Hump day.
Tommy Moffitt to A&M.
It's hump day.
That sucks.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Great for him.
Hump day.
Great for the Aggies.
It's hump day.
Sucks to see him in that maroon and white.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Seeing Shigaroo Garem, Canuck.
It's hump day.
Might need to call Hunt the Good Ag.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
See how he's feeling about this.
Hump day.
Mack Chuilli in about 12 minutes.
It's hump day.
Talk about the evolving state of strength and conditioning training.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
LSU basketball plays tonight.
Hump day.
$1,000 to anyone who can name their opponent. I'm just kidding. Don't say it out loud.
It's hump day.
Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro later this hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Signing day, 1 week away.
Hump day.
Shea Dixon, 1 hour away.
It's hump day.
Ryan Field will be here.
Mike.
No,
What day is it, Mike?
Not the airport. Hump day. He does TV in New York covering the Giants.
It's hump day.
Russ Mitchell wants to come and run his yapper.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
So we'll talk to him later as well.
Hump day.
All right, let's get going. We're glad you're aboard with us here. A ton to do over these next 3 hours. Glad you're spending part of your Wednesday with us. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Couple of things to get here in the open. It is official, as we mentioned. Tommy Moffitt has been named the director of football strength and conditioning over at Texas A&M. That news had started to break on Tuesday evening while we were on the air. I reacted just very quickly to it. Mack Chuilli is going to be with us in the next segment. Mack is the founder, CEO of Traction, and has trained hundreds of major college and professional athletes, from Ryan Terrio to Serena Williams. So I want to talk to Mack about Coach Moffitt and sort of the evolving nature of strength and conditioning, because it's so interesting to me how and I thought of this because I posted on Instagram yesterday the graphic that A&M put out there announcing the Tommy Moffitt hire, and just a quick thought about Coach leaving. And what was so interesting to me is so many former LSU players commented on that post. Respect for Tom, and not only LSU players, by the way, buddy Jonathan Wells, who's a John Curtis guy who played at Ohio State, even guys like Javon Ferguson, who was a Baton Rouge kid who went and played at New Mexico State, and the guys who played for him at LSU and all over. All these players just in the comments, nothing but love and respect for Tommy Moffitt, talking about how great he is. And then you'll have random Joe fan who literally has not taken one step ever inside of football ops, bemoaning Tommy Moffitt, the game passed him by, this or that. And it's the audacity of a thought like that is so interesting to me. And we kind of went through it as well with the Corey Raymond conversation a few weeks back. How many fans have just convinced themselves of a narrative like Tommy Moffitt's past his prime, over the hill, whatever the game passed him by, got lazy in those last 2 years. Do you not realize what happened in the last 2 years? You had a head coach that was taking naked pictures in bed with women. A head coach who was trying to fight dudes on spring break in Cabo. You had a head coach that was completely disinterested whatsoever in running a program coaching football. He hired Jake Peets, Durante Jones, and Bo Pelini. By the way, there was also a global pandemic, and you had his own roster marching against him to the president's office during the BLM movement. Like, are you kidding me? And somehow fans have convinced themselves like Corey Raymond stopped recruiting, Tommy Moffitt quit being a good strength and conditioning coach. No! You had a moronic head coach who ran the program into the ground, and he was so atrocious, they paid him $17 million to go away. The audacity of some of you to just like blanketly accept, oh, well, Tommy Moffitt, the game's passed him by. Oh, really? Because literally every player who has spoken about Tommy Moffitt that played for him lauds and respects the guy, but Go Tigers Steve 57 thinks the game passed him by. Meanwhile, dudes has never so much as stepped foot inside the football operations building at LSU to have any clue, yet makes these declarative statements. It's so comical to me. I mean, it's so stupid, it's funny. Anyway, Mack Chuilli will be with us here in a few minutes. Looking forward to having Mack here. We'll talk a little bit about that, what that means, how all that's evolved, Coach Moffitt, everything, all that stuff's coming up. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. One quick note here. We are waiting on the Saints. The first injury report of the week is the Saints take on the Giants. The Saints are shutting down Kendre Miller for the rest of the year. And as a result, they worked out running backs on Tuesday. A handful of them. Jerrion Ealy, remember, was at Ole Miss. John Lovett, Ty Montgomery, who was with the Saints a year ago. So the Saints worked out a few running backs. Ultimately, Nick Underhill had it first. They signed James Robinson to the practice squad. James Robinson is it's an interesting story. This was a guy who was an undrafted rookie free agent back in 2020. And he signed with Jacksonville. And James Robinson was a 1,000-yard rusher his rookie season as an undrafted rookie free agent, and actually set an NFL record for the most yards from scrimmage for a rookie undrafted free agent. Like, shot out of a cannon to start his career in 2020. In 2021, he played the whole season in Jacksonville. Then week 16, he tore his Achilles. In 2022, he was traded to the Jets. He plays 2022 in New York with the Jets. And in this past offseason, he signs a 2-year, $8 million deal with New England. Well, New England releases him in June over health concerns, over his physical. He goes to camp with the Giants, was released after camp, and then was on again, off again, the practice squad with the Packers throughout this season, and now he joins the New Orleans Saints. So it's been an interesting 4 years, 4 seasons here for James Robinson. But when he's been healthy and he's been right, he's been a really good player. It's just, is he healthy? Is he right? That's what remains to be seen. So we'll kind of get a taste. But, you know, it's interesting to me because before the season started, I remember having this conversation. And there were a lot of people, Saints fans and listeners to the show, take a lot of your feedback. And a lot of people were very high on the Saints running back room. And I remember we went and looked at some like running back room rankings. I know Pro Football Focus graded each running back room in the NFL, and the Saints were like middle of the NFL. I mean, there were some who would say, hey, the Saints have the best running back room in the NFL. Sounds laughable now. But you had Alvin Kamara. You have Jamal Williams, who led the NFL in rushing touchdowns a year ago. You go and draft Kendre Miller. There were a lot of people high on this running back room. Pro Football Focus said, middle of the NFL. And look what's kind of panned out. I mean, the Saints are 20th in the NFL in rushing offense at 104 yards a game. So bottom half of the NFL. Jamal Williams, who led the NFL in rushing touchdowns a year ago, has... Hey, Muse, you know how many rushing touchdowns Jamal Williams has this year? Off the top of your head?
1?
No.
0.
Nailed it. Give yourself a ding there, Muse. 0. The guy who led the NFL in rushing touchdowns a year ago, the Saints have not even found a way to get him in the end zone once this year. 0. None. They played 13 games, by the way. 0 rushing touchdowns. He's got 190 yards on the season. And by the way, Alvin Kamara is pacing for a career low in rushing yards this season. They're terrible. The offensive line stinks. Pete Carmichael stinks. The whole operation stinks. So I don't know that I'm sitting here going to try to sell you in any believable way that James Robinson is going to be the cure-all. But if he's healthy, he's a young guy at 25. He's got a lot of tread left on the tires. When he was right, he was really good, and maybe could bring something of consequence to this offense. I don't know. We'll see. The Saints are playing a Giants team that is one of the worst in the NFL against the run. New York is 29th out of 32 teams in the NFL in run defense at 135 yards per game. So if you ever were going to have an opportunity to get your running game going, it would certainly seem like this would be it against that run defense. For what it's worth, the Saints are 27th in the NFL in run defense at 131 yards a game, so good luck tackling Saquon Barkley this weekend. Saints hosting the Giants. Saints are about a 6-point favorite. Again, I like the matchup because it's not a great Giants team, but the Giants they played on Monday Night Football, and now they have to travel. It's a short week traveling for the Giants. Well, the Saints are at home, very much in a division race, and a little bit desperate. And they had James Robinson for a little depth there at running back. We'll see what type of role he might play. Just getting here on Wednesday after working out on Tuesday. But we'll see what, if any, role he might be able to play this weekend against the Giants. Okay, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with a show open brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the official beer of LSU, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, and the official beer of AFR. That is Bud Light. Our friends over at Mockler Beverage, been great community partners. You know, last year, Mockler Beverage sponsored 82 golf tournaments. 82. That's more than one a week. I'm not good at math, but I know that. Think about all the great organizations around our city and our state that Mockler Beverage has supported. So many organizations that mean a lot to you. Churches, schools, civic groups. Drink easy in Louisiana with a great community partner, Mockler Beverage and Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints and the official beer of AFR. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. As we mentioned, Tommy Moffitt's off to College Station to be the strength and conditioning coordinator at Texas A&M. Our buddy Mack Chuilli, founder, CEO over at Traction Sports, is going to jump aboard with us next. Talk a little bit about that decision by Tommy Moffitt. And really, I want Mack to add some color to the conversation where we started, which is this notion that so many have that the game has evolved and passed Tommy Moffitt by, which I think is just flatly dumb. But we'll ask an expert when we come back. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Right about HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Hey, remember, if you own a commercial building, or if you have a building that has a flat or metal roof and you have roof issues, call HUDCO. I've mentioned it before, but HUDCO has a silicone coating product. So it can be very expensive. I just, every time I pass by Industrialplex in Baton Rouge, I look at all those buildings. They're like north, Tom Drive, north of Airline, north of Florida, all those industrial buildings with the flat roofs, metal roofs. It can be very expensive to replace those. That's why HUDCO has this silicone coating product. It's roughly half the cost of a roof replacement, and it comes with a 20-year warranty. Like, what are you going to be doing in 20 years? Are you going to still own that building in 20 years? It's a great option. It's HUDCO Roofing. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. From commercial to residential, repairs and replacements, it's HUDCO Roofing. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find him on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
The Saints injury report is out. There were 4 players that didn't participate. Isaiah Foskey, Kendre Miller, as we mentioned, likely done for the year here. Chris Olave and Andrus Peat out with an illness. Nothing else there of great consequence. But we'll delve into that a bit later on. And Shea Dixon to start hour number 2. We are 1 week away from the early signing period beginning, the early signing day. And Shea will give us all the tidbits here as we're 1 week out from the early signing period. The media availability here leading up to the bowl game is limited. On Monday, LSU is going to have an event with a Christmas shopping event with some children. There's media availability for that. Tuesday, so in 6 days, is the media's first opportunity to watch practice. for the bowl, and then a day later is the beginning of the early signing period, and Brian Kelly will meet with reporters then, and then next Thursday we'll have an opportunity to watch practice and speak to players. So really just next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is about it. At least that's it for next week, and then obviously it's Christmas week, and then they're gone to Tampa for the week for all the festivities leading up to the ReliaQuest Bowl. So we'll fill you in as we know more. All right, obviously we talked about it a little bit in the open today, but Tommy Moffitt, who's been out of coaching for a couple of years, is back in the game now at Texas A&M, heading there as the Aggie strength and conditioning coordinator. Our buddy Mack Chuilli from Traction, the founder, CEO, head trainer over at Traction, who's trained, as everyone, as I mentioned, from Ryan Terrio to Serena Williams, is good enough to jump board with us here to talk a little bit about this. Mack, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Hey, Scone. How's it going, man?
Good, man. I appreciate a few minutes. What was your reaction when you saw the news about Tommy Moffitt going to Texas A&M?
Oh, obviously sad as an LSU fan, but extremely fired up for Coach, man. He's, what people don't realize is he could have done this over the last few years. He's had many other options for him to go, be a collegiate strength coach, and that's what his passion is. But he was obviously waiting for the right opportunity and the right time in his life, man. And I'm just pumped up for him and his family, and I know how fired up he's going to be.
It's one of the things that I mentioned as well, Mac, is Tommy's youngest, Brady, was just finished up high school a year ago at Catholic. So Clay and Aaron and Brady now all being done. It's probably a right time situation. Like, he wasn't going to move right while his son was a senior in high school. So the timing probably worked out. But I kind of wanted to get your thought as well as someone who's made an amazing career in this field on the evolution that Tommy Moffitt's gone through, not throughout his entire career, but even just the 21 years at LSU.
Yeah, look, what people don't understand is Coach Moffitt is a pioneer in this industry. He's evolved so much over the years, and that's what's always made LSU's program extremely special. His work and Jack Marucci and those guys at LSU, they've constantly evolved how to train these guys, and as the strength and conditioning industry has changed, those guys have been on the forefront and the leaders of that. And Coach Moffitt is a guy, I'm younger than Coach, and I've always looked up to him, and I've always, went to him with questions and things like that in my own career. I've always been in the private sector, and his passion has always been, collegiate athletes, but we constantly talked about, what they were doing and what, new technology, and he's always been on the forefront of that. From, I when I speak all the time, I explain that, the 80s, was the big Olympic lifting time. We all know Coach Hatch, and he was the pioneer of that. Nebraska football was the big, leader in strength and conditioning. And then in the 90s, you got, Florida State and Miami, were so much faster, and all those guys were part of the track program. So strength and conditioning evolved from kind of Olympic lifting, and then a lot of the track, training principles were included in the strength and conditioning. And then, they were dealing with a lot of soft tissue injuries and stuff. Football players that change direction aren't the same as track athletes who sprint and lean left, right? So they were dealing with injuries, and then the big PT functional world came into it, and strength and conditioning coaches had to evolve in. And then now, today, it's metrics and technology. And look, Coach Moffitt has always been on the forefront. He was, these guys were at LSU, were on the catapult system, and tracking everything they've done. And he's changed year after year, and he's one of these guys that has always evolved. And, my biggest pet peeve in coaching of any sport has always been, this is how we used to do it. And Coach Moffitt is not like that in any way, man. He's constantly learning. He's a humble guy, and he's evolved tremendously with the industry, and he's going to do fantastic things at A&M, unfortunately for us, right?
What is the catapult system?
It's just going to track how much they run, how far they're running. You'll see it. You'll see the different technologies, and there's a bunch of different ones, but you'll see it in NFL games now. This guy got up to this many miles an hour, and he ran this far in a single game, and that's all the technology that they're using nowadays to track, when guys need to lift, when they need to rest, when they need to eat, when they need to practice, when they don't, and that's kind of the new industry standard across sports and strength and conditioning programs.
Mack Chuilli is with us, founder, CEO, performance director over at Traction Sports. Spent his whole life training elite level athletes. Talking a little bit of perspective here on Tommy Moffitt. And by the way, Mac, I don't want this in any way to be disparaging toward Jake Flint, who is LSU strength and conditioning coordinator, because while we're still learning, a lot of the guys on staff, I don't suspect that Jake Flint has done a bad job or done anything wrong. I mean, have you had any interaction or any feeling on what type of job Jake Flint and his staff have done while at LSU these past 2 seasons?
No, I think they're doing an incredible job. The industry is filled with a bunch of incredible guys, and that's kind of the downfall that you were talking about earlier. Is like you almost got to bash Coach Moffitt because he's not the LSU guy anymore. And it's like, wait a minute, there's great guys all over the country, and LSU has a great strength and conditioning program, and that's no knock on Coach Moffitt or anybody else. But Texas A&M just hit a home run with this hire, and it's just another great guy that LSU's got to deal with. No different than other great head coaches across NCAA collegiate athletes.
Matt, you also mentioned like the soft tissue injuries, right? So whenever it was sort of the track guys playing football, you'd see a lot of that. If there's one thing that I have heard, it's a criticism of the number of injuries that LSU's had in recent years. Like, how do you attribute that, or what do you say to that?
Well, look, the term injury prevention is kind of a myth. You can't absolutely prevent injuries. You're just doing your best to prepare guys. And then, there's injuries that are preventable, and then there's injuries, Achilles and ACLs and, what impacts sports. It's more the strength and conditioning coach's job is to make sure that these guys are prepared to play, and they're normally judged on, how many minutes the top 22 guys in football and the top 5 guys in basketball or the top 9 guys in baseball can play. And if these guys are losing game time because of hamstring injuries or groin pulls or, things like that, that's when you really turn to the strength and conditioning coach. Nowadays, there's metrics that all of these guys, you have the combine coming up, and everybody wants to know how fast this guy's going to run or how many times he can bench 225. The truth is the biggest, strongest guys don't make the best NFL players. The fastest guys don't make the NFL best players. It's kind of the combination of all of these things. And these strength coaches' job is to make these guys well-rounded athletes. And more than ever, in the NIL world and the amount of money being thrown around in professional sports, they got to keep these guys on the field.
What do you think is you talked about the evolution, right? So from the 80s, it was all the Olympic lifts, and in the 90s, it was Florida State, Miami, all the track guys. As we continue to see this evolution, like what do you see on the forefront like right now? What are you all seeing and doing at traction that probably LSU and others are doing as well?
Yeah, well, we're following the lead of the premier, sports medicine programs in the country. For example, the strength and conditioning coach is now part of the sports medicine team at LSU. They have a sports medicine director, and he's the strength staff and the training staff and the nutritionist and the massage therapist. All these things, the doctors, the team doctors and all are all part of this health staff. And then you have the coaching staff, which is the guys that coach football, and they're kind of two different entities that work together. And, even at Traction with our partnership with Our Lady of the Lake, we're looking at the entire health of the athlete, and they're able to provide us with so many different things that we were unable to provide, for our athletes in the past, that we're super excited about our partnership because we can provide, the full health with, a therapy and training and nutrition and, research and, all of the different things that we can do now for the common athlete that, used to be far-fetched for only the elite now is available for everybody. So that's the future of sports. It's the entire sports medicine side it's not just the defensive guy is the strength coach anymore. They have a full, health program for all of these athletes at the highest levels.
And, what's interesting is that you hear a lot of the guys talk because of like the contact rules with coaches and players in the off season and, throughout the summer. A lot of times the coaches can't interact with the players on the field. It is the strength coordinator that is kind of running the show, right, during the offseason.
Yeah, it's the sports medicine staff. It's the coaches and the trainers and the therapists, and, they're the ones that spend all of the time with these athletes, man. And these athletes, live and die by every word in every instruction that they give. Those are the guys, the coaches of these football teams are relying on that staff to make sure that when they start practicing, when they are allowed to have these guys, that they're all full speed and ready to go so that they can prepare for the football season.
He is Mack Chuilli, founder, CEO, director of performance over at TractionSports.com, shedding some light on the direction that LSU is going here. And, of course, the big news of Tommy Moffitt joining Texas A&M. It's just going to suck to watch him in maroon and white, man. God, that's going to suck so bad.
It sucks to wear maroon and white, too. You're an MBS guy like me, and I love the school to death, and my daughter went there, but that maroon, man, drove me crazy all those years.
Pelicans, bro. I don't think that's what a Pelican says. All right, Mack, we appreciate it, man. Be well. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Oh, man, be well. That is Mack Chuilli from over at Traction. We appreciate some perspective. And I wanted to do that because I can sit here and yell about Tommy Moffitt. I mean, I can even sit here and read comments that dozens, if not hundreds, of former players have said, but it's a really good illustration of how strength and conditioning and sports medicine has continued to evolve over the 20-plus years that Tommy Moffitt was here and how he continuously evolved as well. So hopefully a little bit of myth-busting, man. I know I've talked about it a lot with the Corey Raymond stuff. I don't know where that's rooted, like where that comes from. Like somebody puts on Twitter or a message board or says something, that it just becomes this echo chamber where people believe this narrative where you only look for affirmation instead of information. So hopefully that helped. Maybe it didn't, but hopefully that helped a little for some. All right, let me knock out a quick break. Taylor Calandro in 15 minutes to do some Bourbon Dictionary. We'll get to Around the SEC when we come back. Shea Dixon, 30 minutes from right now. We are 1 week away from the early signing period. Shea will give us all the latest headlines. Stick around, it's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You know where to find them, 1hourbr.com. Love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Perry Williams that said, very pleased. Carter, the technician, was awesome. He got here fast, finished in no time at all. Very polite, hardworking young man. Thank you very much. Another 5-star review for River City's 1 Hour Air. And that's the same company that adopted 3 families this Christmas season. We've been telling you about that promotion for several weeks now. They've chosen the families, and we're excited to be able to salute River City's 1 Hour Air for the great work they're doing in our community to help make Christmas a little brighter for 3 families in need this Christmas season. Of course, if you have issues with your heater when the weather's getting cold, do what I do. Do what thousands of Louisiana residents have done in the Baton Rouge area for 40 years. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the clock on the side. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find him on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
A busy night tonight. Pellies are back on the floor. LSU basketball back on the floor against Alabama State. That's going to be a thrilling achievement, no doubt. 7 o'clock Central for LSU. 6 o'clock for the Pellies. They're on the road at Washington. But the Otter last night, Colucci gave us the Vegas Golden Knights hit on the money line, not on the puck line. So the Otter suggested we split the picks. So if you did that, you went 1-1. Otter gave us the Warriors on the money line as they were a 1-point dog against Phoenix, and they ended up losing by 3. So that one did not hit. And I feel awful because but for the creep Draymond Green, you probably win that game, right? I mean, they were winning the game when he got ejected.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. But, look, they all love him, Matt. He fires the team up. It's all good. It's whatever, So stupid that they continue to put up with that guy.
I don't really care what Golden State does.
I just think it's dumb.
I don't really care what Golden State does. I'm just pissed that we lost the bet last night because Draymond Green's a loser.
Yeah. Punching teammates, choking people on the floor.
If you want to get in the game, you can. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet the Otter's going to have some NBA picks for us tonight. Safe assumption? Yeah, I would think so.
Absolutely. Probably maybe some college basketball,
Probably, yeah. Hey, remember, make a $5 NBA bet. Any $5 NBA bet. If you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 NBA bet. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So easy to play. You can withdraw and deposit money with just a couple of taps. You can use Venmo or you can connect your bank account, PayPal. There's so many different ways to do it. It's super easy. It's safe, secure. It's the DraftKings Sportsbook, and it's so much more fun when you got a little skin in the game. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. New customers make a $5 NBA bet. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly. It's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right. We'll get to Bourbon Dictionary in about 10 minutes from right now. So get your booze questions in for Taylor Calandro. You can email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia edge rusher Marvin Jones Jr. has entered the transfer portal. 2 seasons in Athens, played in 20 games for the Bulldogs, but he'll continue his career elsewhere. Out of high school, he was a 5-star edge rusher, the number 20 overall player in the country back in 2022.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas defensive lineman Tank Booker has entered the transfer portal. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining as a graduate transfer. Booker's been a solid player here. Previously transferred from Maryland to Arkansas, but now is on the move again. Played in 11 games with no starts this past year.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
A couple of players on the move there out of Oxford. Wide receiver J.J. Henry has hit the portal, wrapping up his 3rd season there with the Rebs. Played in just 3 games this past season. He's the 2nd Ole Miss receiver to hit the portal, 10th player to do so in the cycle. Meanwhile, Southern Miss transfer offensive lineman Jerquan Scott has committed to the Rebs. 5 seasons with the Golden Eagles, so he will be a 6th-year player. 6'40", 330-pound lineman. Started all 12 games for Southern Miss this year. Immediate depth and experience for the Rebs on the offensive line.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
A Vandy wide receiver, Jaden McGowan, is staying in the conference, leaving Nashville, headed to Columbia, South Carolina. McGowan was the 49th best available wide receiver in the portal, according to On3. Did not have a touchdown this past year as a sophomore after scoring 3 times as a freshman.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And former North Texas wide receiver Jamori Macklin has committed to Kentucky. 5'11", 185. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. He was a 1,000-yard receiver for the Mean Green this past season there in Denton, Texas, with 57 receptions for 1,004 yards and 11 touchdowns. On the hardwood last night in the conference, just one game. Number 12 Tennessee beat Georgia Southern 74-56. Nice slate tonight around the league. As we mentioned, LSU hosts Alabama State. Mississippi State at home against the Murray State Racers. And Auburn takes on UNC Asheville. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Raging Cajuns, and the Baton Rouge Zydeco. If you need office equipment, copiers, scanners, fax machines, all-in-ones, everything, you need the best. Gulf Coast Office Product, a national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. One of the things I wanted to get to yesterday, we didn't have time to. Did you hear, if you were watching Monday Night Football, the Dolphins lost to the Titans, and it was a dramatic game where the Dolphins led by 14 with under 3 minutes to play. A big part of the reason why Miami's offense stalled and Tennessee was able to get back in it was the injury to Tyreek Hill, who up to this point is a legitimate NFL MVP candidate. You don't say that often about receivers. Kind of had the same conversation about Mike Thomas back in 2018 when he won NFL Offensive Player of the Year, of course, but did not win the MVP. But Tyreek Hill is challenging Calvin Johnson's single-season receiving yardage record. I mean, he's pushing for 2,000 yards this season. But he injured his ankle and left the game. And apparently he was texting with his wife in the locker room. Listen to what Tyreek Hill said in the postgame about the text exchange with his wife.
I text my wife. I was like, bro, like, it hurt. Like, get an ankle massage tonight. She was like, you better get your back in that game, dog. I was like, all right.
If you couldn't understand it because ESPN had the music underneath it, he said he texted his wife, said, my ankle hurt. I need a massage tonight, something like that, you know. And she said, you better get your ass back in that game, dog. when your wife is saying, you better go make that money, bro. Get back in that game. Respect to Mrs. Cheetah on this one. Get him back out there. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Taylor Calandro, Little Bourbon Dictionary. Got your booze questions. Get them in. You can email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Get to Bourbon Dictionary. Shea Dixon in 18 minutes. Talk some Cruton with signing day just 1 week away. Next hour, we'll head up to New York. Ryan Field, who covers the Giants for the ABC affiliate up there, will be with us to talk about the Saints opponent. We got a ton to do, and glad you're hanging out. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know where to find them. You can always call 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Everywhere in the state of Louisiana, so no matter where you are, just dial 888-8888. And, of course, you always go to the website at getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. If you haven't done so yet, I would really highly recommend you go follow Gordon on all the social media. So, of course, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, X, all that sort of stuff. Because pretty soon they're going to have a lot of the social media content of Gordon and his team giving away the bicycles for their Get Gordon, Gordon Gives bike giveaway. We've been talking about it for weeks now, but every year around Christmas, Gordon gives away bikes to less fortunate children across the state of Louisiana. This year, 488 bikes. And the pictures and the videos of a lot of those bike giveaways are some of the greatest content, most heartwarming content you'll see this time of year. So make sure you follow them on all the social media at Get Gordon. Get Gordon and get it done.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
His name came. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Are we going to get to Taylor Calandro here in just a quick second? We did mention LSU is playing tonight against is it Alabama State or Alabama A&M? Alabama State. They're playing Alabama State tonight. They're playing a SWAC school that they're going to beat by 100. It's just what I get why you schedule these games, but nobody really wants to watch it. Of greater consequence is what might happen with Jalen Cook. If you know the story, Jalen Cook from Walker, who had originally signed with LSU, transferred to Tulane, was their best player the last 2 years, transferred back to LSU, but as a two-time transfer needed a waiver. The NCAA denied that waiver. Well, today, a judge in West Virginia issued a temporary 14-day restraining order, which allows temporary eligibility for players who were denied eligibility, at least for this 14-day period. And there are assumptions that this could lead to a permanent change. Now, the NCAA issued a statement that it will follow the court's ruling. I'll read. It's a two-line statement. Quote, as a result of today's decision impacting Division I student-athletes, the association will not enforce the year in residency requirement for the multiple-time transfers and will begin notifying member schools. Essentially saying over these 14 days, if you were denied eligibility, you can play, which means LSU plays tonight and Jalen Cook can play. So I am efforting right now, word whether or not LSU is going to play Jalen Cook tonight against Alabama State. Why not? Get him out there and get him some run. So it would be great if this rule is changed permanently because he's dynamic. He would immediately be your starting point guard. He would change your offense and the whole way your entire thing is running. So, yes, very, very significant there potentially if that becomes permanent. Okay, let's do it. Bourbon Dictionary.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, tomorrow is the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle, the 12th annual, raising money for the 4Kids Foundation, Emerge Center, and St. Lillian Academy. I was over at Calandro's earlier today, scooping up my tickets. Taylor's with us now. How are you, dude?
Good. How are you, Matt?
I'm good. Calm before the storm. What's it like over there today?
It's been pretty steady the past few days. Tomorrow, I'm expecting it to be crazy. Yeah.
Fill in the blank.
It's been steady sales for the past 3 days.
Remind people what the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle is for those that aren't familiar or don't know.
So it's a raffle for rare whiskey. It sounds pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So what we do is we raffle the chance to purchase rare whiskey at fair retail price. We've been doing it for 12 years now, and all the ticket sales that we do, 100% of it goes to charity. The charities you listed right before. Sorry.
Did you just flush the toilet?
No, that's my kid.
Oh, okay. Did he flush the toilet?
No.
Okay.
He's just being a kid.
Oh, it just sounded like a toilet flush, that's all. We're excited to be at Calandro's tomorrow. And Hunt Palmer Show, AFR, will be live at Calandro's on Perkins. Get on by, purchase your tickets. Before we get to questions, run through the pricing.
So the tickets start at $10, and you can buy up to 50. The more you buy, the bigger discount you get. So I think when you end up buying 50 tickets, it ends up being $375. So it makes the tickets like $7.50 a piece.
And remember, that entire amount, that $375, all of that goes to charity.
100%. And right before we got on air, I think we were at like $40,000, a little over $40,000 in ticket sales. So last year we were at 60 total. So I'm expecting to get close to that or go over.
Awesome. And the event tomorrow, I'm looking at here, it says 5 to 8 p.m. So for people that do come out to Calandro's for the Rare Whiskey Raffle starting at 5 o'clock, explain what the evening is like.
Yeah, so we hadn't done it in a few years in person, but we're going to be doing a tasting starting around 5, probably a little before 5, throughout the day, just tasting different stuff. We're going to have a Woodford Reserve engraving station, a Maker's Mark calligraphy station. You can get customized bottles. And then y'all show will be there, obviously. And then after you get off the air, we'll start the raffle probably around 6:30ish.
Right.
And just kind of go rapid fire from there.
It's going to be a really good day. It always is. Great chance to sample some great whiskeys as well when it's in person. I know Taylor's dad, Mark, tends to bust out some really good bottles for everybody to sample.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad you mentioned his name. We also we got told like a couple hours ago we're getting all the Pappy Friday that we're going to get.
Okay.
And we're going to get one of every year except for 23. I just don't know what the quantities are.
Okay.
But I'll probably know by tomorrow morning. I'm going to be posting a final list, and I put that in heavy quotations tomorrow morning.
So a Van Winkle 10, 12, 15, and 20?
And 13-year rye.
And the rye. Okay, awesome.
Everything but the 23-year.
All right, let's get to questions. You know how to get them in. You can email us, tweet us, text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Brandon said, ask Taylor, am I able to buy whiskey online for shipping or even pick up at a later date? I'm not in Baton Rouge, but make it sometimes from the North Shore.
I don't think you can get liquor shipped from out of state here.
I think he's asking
honestly,
like you, like if he buys stuff from you, could y'all ship it?
Oh, no, we can't ship alcohol either.
All right, Chris Burke asked Taylor if he carries the Frank family sparkling.
Yes, we do.
And
I don't know how much it is off the top of my head, but yes, we do carry it.
Frank family is one of the wineries that we went to when we were in Napa back in February. It was awesome.
We didn't go there, but I've heard it's that's a extremely popular winery in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Frank family was great. Brian Chandler asked Taylor, Whistle Pig 18-year for $400. Good buy or not?
So the Whistle Pig 18-year is a malt. If you're into that kind of thing, it's a little softer. I really like it. It's hard to find. It's a beautiful bottle with a beautiful topper. I would say buy it.
It is beautiful. It is ornate. It's just, and it is delicious. It's just, do you want to spend $400 on a bottle of whiskey?
Do you have $400 to spend on whiskey?
If you want,
it's great.
If you want to spend $400 on a bottle of whiskey, that's a good one to spend $400 on.
You will not have buyer's remorse. I would. That's what I would say.
Jamie Perk, Matt asked Taylor his thoughts on Ranch Heritage 4-year bourbon.
I have never heard of or had Ranch Heritage bourbon. It sounds like a Texas bourbon, but I have no clue.
Scott Pitaro asked Taylor, would you ever use a $100 bottle of bourbon for an old-fashioned?
Sure, why not? I have had an old-fashioned with old Rip Van Winkle. So
ooh, it
was delicious.
I've
also had one with the 13-year rye.
I would not do that.
It was one of the best old-fashions I've ever had.
Greg Lehman asked Taylor, what's the whiskey brand you consider up and coming?
I would say Penelope, but they just got bought for $100 million. Up and coming, Smoke Wagon is really good.
That's a good one.
Smoke Wagon is going to do big things. It's just a prediction, but I think Smoke Wagon.
I got 3 seconds. I got to go. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya. Bye.
AFR.
Shea Dixon coming up right after Sports Center. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, with more than 30 offices across 11 different states. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Here's a good one for you. Speaking of the rare whiskey raffle. So, you buy a bottle of whiskey. Generally on the topper, there is a plastic encasement over the topper. And usually the plastic has perforations. Well, there is a required amount of force to be able to tear that plastic on that perforation. Well, who calibrates the machine to do that? Michelli does. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. That's just one example of literally thousands, maybe even more than thousands, of potential applications for all of the stuff that Michelli does. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. Their track system allows you 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates, and they're local. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A video portrays a West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputy appearing to gloat about shooting into the back of a fleeing car. That video is so concerning, prosecutors and investigators now have it. Already, his alleged actions led to charges of illegal discharge of a firearm and obstruction of justice. See the new video tonight. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee. $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee. And all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible, let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Step inside an Infiniti QX50, and you'll find a suite of driver-focused features tailored to your tastes. But most of all, you'll find luxury that lets you feel infinitely you. Visit your local Infiniti retailer today.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Warriors forward Draymond Green's awaiting results of an NBA League office review for the possibility of another suspension. Last night, he was ejected for a flagrant 2 foul after hitting Sun center Yusuf Nurkic in the head. Third ejection of the season, happening a month after Green was suspended 5 games for putting Timberwolves center Rudy Gobert in a headlock. ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
Who's the person that is going to call or pull Draymond to the side and say, hey, bro, you tripping, that he actually respect? I don't believe it's Steve Kerr. Not saying he don't respect Steve Kerr. I don't think it's Steph Curry, for the simple fact he's not a vocal type of guy. But Rich Paul, LeBron, Draymond look up to you guys. Might want to tell him what he needs to hear right now.
Getting ready for Kansas City. That was Patriots coach Bill Belichick's response to questions regarding his future following a report out of Boston that he and the team will split after this season. The Patriots host the Chiefs on Sunday. Two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani, the newest Dodger, will be introduced by the team at a press conference tomorrow. He agreed, of course, to that 10-year, $700 million contract last weekend.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you why Kevin Stefanski is the coach of the year, and it's not even close. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 30 minutes from right now, we're heading up to New York City. Ryan Field covers the Giants for the ABC affiliate up there, WABC. We'll get a closer look at the Saints' opponent this weekend. We are 1 week away from the start of the early signing period, and things are heating up. LSU staff is out on the road recruiting, in-home visits. Good time to catch up with our buddy Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger, to get the absolute latest. Shea, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. It feels like all these conversations, Shea, have to start with portal targets and gets before we even start talking about the high school targets. So you've said for a long time here that the portal approach is changing and that you anticipate LSU is going to sign single-digit players out of the portal this year. Who are some of the names that they've really narrowed a focus on at this point, a week away from the early signing period?
You know, I still stand by that. I don't think they're going to hit double digits, and they had in the prior 2 seasons out of necessity. Now they've got, right now currently, that they'll sign next week, 27 commitments, 26 high school guys, 1 JUCO player. Then you add from that the guys they're retaining, and for the first time, they are near that 85-man scholarship limit. So you can be, as Brian Kelly said, a lot more, and will have to be, a lot more picky with who you're going after in the portal. You're not necessarily playing for a bunch of depth pieces. you're really looking at guys who can come in and help right away. And I think that starts for me with, one, Xavion Thomas out of Mississippi State, who has already made a visit to LSU since entering the portal. This was a kid who came out of John Ehret as a 4-star, and since going to Mississippi State the past 2 seasons has been the SEC's in the top 5 nationally and among the best in the SEC as a punt returner. He scored a kick return touchdown this year in a big moment against Texas A&M right at out of the gates. I think it was the first play of the game. But also on a very bad state offense this year that was 13th of 14 teams in the SEC. He went over 500 yards receiving. So this is a Louisiana native who has a proven track record of being an excellent punt and kick returner in the SEC, which solves one issue that you've had now for 2 seasons. And he brings you a guy at receiver with multiple years left to play who can certainly battle for playing time. If you can put up over 500 yards in State's offense a year ago, that's a pretty solid showing. So wide receiver, a position where I think they could take 1 or 2. His name jumps to the forefront for me. And when I look at the defense, Matt, yeah, there's a need at D-line, but can they get Mekhi Wingo back? Can they get Mason Smith back? And you've got depth pieces with Deshaun Womack now expected to play a bigger role, and guys like Parrish Shand and Braden Swinson returning, and Savion Jones is a guy who still has eligibility remaining, obviously, and he'll be back. So I jump to defensive back and look at the corner and safety rooms. And one, I'll stick with Louisiana guys here. One of them's a kid who played his high school football on LSU's campus in Jordan Gilbert, who played at U High, was recruited by LSU, chose Texas A&M, started for Texas A&M, then ended up getting injured this year, but he entered the portal. He's one that I've circled from the start as someone that I think ends up being at LSU. And another is a guy who went in today, DeCamarion Richardson, who's a North Louisiana kid who played at Mississippi State, 4-year player there who has production, started a bunch of games, 20-plus games as an SEC corner, and now he'll look around, and I've heard LSU, Oregon, Texas A&M will be in the mix. So kind of to start off, I think you're just saying, hey, where do we lose guys at, or where we kind of have some shortage of roster holes at, and let's go fill them with guys we think could start or compete to start.
Shea, real quick, you also mentioned 27 high school commits. The JUCO player was Sean Washington, if I'm not mistaken, is who you're referring to, the defensive lineman. How many are expected to sign a week from today?
That's the good news. Every single one of them is expected to sign next week. So that's the benefit of the early signing period, right? That you don't now have to continue to recruit guys all the way until February, because February's signing day still does exist. There's some guys that will wait until then to sign, but those are not current LSU commits. So the plan right now from everybody we've talked to up and down the commitment list is they plan to next Wednesday morning sign the letter, send it in, and be done with their recruitment.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon. It's obviously a great time to jump on the site and go check out all the info there. So this week we know the coaches are on the road. If I'm not mistaken, Shea, they were in home today over in Acadiana with Dominic McKinley. Who else are the main targets that the coaches are out seeing this week?
Yeah, Frank Wilson and Brian Kelly both went and saw Dominic McKinley, who is their top, you would say, remaining target on the board, considered he's a Louisiana guy. He's ranked as a 5-star. He's a defensive lineman coming out of Acadiana, and they're one of many teams who have made an in-home visit with him. He's still committed to Texas A&M right now, but because of the staff shakeup, he's going to wait till February to, sign anywhere. So nothing will happen there next week, it doesn't appear. He'll give LSU a look. He'll give Texas, OU, a couple of other schools that have been in the mix the whole way, a look, and then certainly get to know Elko and that new staff in College Station a bit. So that one's not done yet, and certainly you look at LSU's board, and when you look at Louisiana and look at the top 12 players in the state, LSU signed almost all of them, but McKinley's the one highly ranked guy that they're still pursuing that doesn't have that LSU logo next to commitment. So it will be very interesting to see how things play out there. And then Terry Bussey, a 5-star out of Texas, an athlete who has also been committed to A&M, is going to wait until February now because he wants to see what all the different staffs look like and then make a final decision then. So we're kind of in this period now where they're balancing bowl practice, in-home business with current commitments, checking in on guys like McKinley and Bussey, but knowing, hey, look, if these guys are indeed waiting until February, we've got time to recruit them for a couple more months.
Shea, are there every year around signing day, there's always surprises. Either guys you get that you're not anticipating or guys you might lose that you thought you'd keep. Who are some of the names to keep an eye on a week from today that might pull a signing day surprise?
At this point, which I think is a good thing, I don't think there will be that many. LSU wanted to have between 25 and 30 signees for the early signing period, and being at 27 and signing all 27 of them next week would mean that you've done your homework. You've got it all figured out. You got the guys committed you wanted, and they aren't taking other visits here at the end on this final weekend. For instance, none of LSU's commits are expected to be on anybody else's campus this weekend, which is a little bit of a shift from maybe where the seasons past have taken them, but things seem to be pretty stable with this class right now, which is made up of a lot of Louisiana and Texas guys who are local, have been visiting LSU a lot, and know what they're getting into, and at this point they feel pretty good about the decision. So unless someone pops up out of left field, really, and becomes a major player here at the end to announce for LSU next week, I think any sort of announcements or big news of new commitments would be portal and not high school.
Last thing for you here, Shea. When you look at this class in total, you mentioned the 27 commits out of high school, the JUCO player as well. Where are they strong, and where do they still have holes?
Yeah, I really like what Mike Denbrock and the staff have done to build the tight end room out. Kamorian Pimpton's the guy I think we'll get to know a lot better next year, but Trades Green up at Zachary is unbelievable. He's the number one tight end in the country, 6'6.5", 230, and he can jump out the gym. He's got basketball offers, including LSU. I think that Matt.
Shea, I'm sorry. Is he a potential two-sport guy?
I think yes, he can be, and if he wants to try, go for it. We've seen all the way back to Marcus Spears and those guys try it.
Yeah.
Just how the two seasons blend together makes it very difficult.
Okay.
So, baseball, football can kind of be a thing. Football, basketball is pretty tough to pull off. But he is a very good basketball player, I will say that. So you get a guy like that in, and I just feel like next year, offensively, they're running more two tight end sets. It's not Jaden Daniels back there where he's going to either throw it deep to Malik or Brian, or he's going to, run and do it himself. But they're going back to running the football. They're going back to 12 personnel. And you could put a guy like Trades Green and Kamorian Pimpton out there in two tight end sets. And look, you've got Mason Taylor coming back, all those guys where you've got real pass threats at tight end, which we know Kelly and Denbrock like to use. So I like the tight end spot. I think they've done very well at DB to get at least 4 corners in the boat, which I said from the start you needed at least 4 high school guys you could develop. And then they got 2 really good safeties, Deshaun McBride and Joel Rogers. Linebacker's a good class. I loved here at the end that they popped Gabe Relaford and flipped him from A&M. That gave them a big-time D-line commit who we have ranked as a top 10 D-lineman in the country. They spot recruited well, but I'll tell you what, Matt, it's probably 3 years in a row where I look up and down the commitment list and I say Brad Davis probably has the best haul once again, position-wise, of what they're bringing in. And we've seen how it's paid off. They have a very stellar O-line that's up for the Joe Moore Award again this year, as they were in 2019. He's building some really good depth. Think about it. Zaylon's Hurd, a 5-star. They didn't even need him to start this year. They were able to go coast to coast with the 5 guys they had. Now, I don't know what the future holds with Dellinger and Miles Frazier if they go pro or stay, but boy, they have stacked up 3 year in a row now with Brad Davis of really good O-line classes.
Yeah. Charles Turner could return for a 6th year as well. You could have all 5 starters back on the offensive line. And you mentioned Hurd and then guys like Weston Davis who are committed. It's starting to look like the line many thought it would whenever Brian Kelly came in with that reputation, to be sure. Shea Dixon, On 3, the Bengal Tiger. Make sure you're following Shea on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Good enough to visit with us here. I know it's going to be a really busy week next week, but maybe, Shea, an uneventful week. Relatively speaking. We always appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Uneventful's not a bad thing in recruiting sometimes. Hey, let's do it next week, right before signing day.
I would love to do that. Always appreciate the time. The one and only Shea Dixon. Y'all give him a follow at Shea Dixon. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. One of the reasons I love telling you about South Point and the Volkswagen line is because one of the reasons that I love driving a Volkswagen is the safety features. You know, I bring Drew to school every morning. And every morning we're on the interstate, we're on Airline Highway, we're on busy streets at a busy time of day, and sometimes people are distracted. And it's just something that's always in my mind. I mean, I got my son in my car with me, and I want to be in a safe vehicle. And we drive around every day in my Volkswagen Atlas Crossport. And before that, it was the Atlas. And before that, it was the CC. And before that, I drove a Passat. And I love driving Volkswagens because you get all the style, the feel, the performance of luxury that I talk about, all the technology. But you get the great safety features as well. And at a great price. How can you beat it? It's South Point Volkswagen. Manufactured right here in the U.S. of A. at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. So you're supporting American jobs as well. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all. Glad you're here. When we come back, we get to the Saints injury report. Also, Bill Belichick, there's reports out now that this will be his final season in New England. I was asked earlier today, would I like to see Bill Belichick coaching the New Orleans Saints next year? I do have a thought on that, and I'd love to share it with you. And then we'll head up to New York 15 minutes from right now, talk to Ryan Field, WABC, who covers the New York Giants, get a look at the Giants as they're heading down to the Dome on Sunday. It's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us here on Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. Stick around.
AFR.
Man, it's always a great time to get by Rouse's. If it's just that grab-and-go dinner option, maybe you need to run in and get a few grocery items. Maybe you're doing your weekend shopping for the entire week. No matter what it is you need, Rouse's can help. Maybe you're just stockpiling for that holiday party. You're having people over to your house. We have the Erica's family Christmas party, the Keller Christmas party. We host it every year at our house. And all of Erica's extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, everything like that, all come over. And we love to host. And it's great. And Rouse's is great because they have great holiday party trays as well. So if you need the cheese trays or the fruit trays or the veggie trays or the sandwich trays, the drumettes, the mix and match, you do it all. It's there at Rouse's for you. Easy to grab and go or make your own. Give them a call before your holiday party, and all the spirits as well. You want great beer and wine and all of the spirits, they got it over at Rouse's. Remember, buy 4, save more. You buy 4 bottles of wine or more. The more you buy, the more you save. Allows you to try some really interesting wines. It's at Rouse's. This feels like home.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Saints and Giants Sunday in the Dome. The first injury report is out. The Giants are 5-8, coming off a really nice win with Tommy DeVito, old Cutlets himself. This past Monday Night Football. Saints outlasted a terrible Carolina team, and they're a game apart in the win-loss column. The Giants are 5-8. The Saints are 6-7, three-way tie atop the NFC South. And it's one that if you're New Orleans, like you feel like you got to win your home games the rest of the way. You know, when you were going into last week with 5 to play, you felt like you had 3 games at home, 2 on the road. You have to win the 3 home games. You got Carolina, you got to beat the Giants, you got to beat Atlanta. You got a road game against the Rams. You got a road game against Tampa. So you'd love to win all 3 division games. It would certainly set you in a great spot. But my goodness, you got to be able to win at home against the Giants as a 6-point favorite with Tommy DeVito at quarterback. We'll be keeping an eye on the injury report throughout this week. A couple of things of note: Isaiah Foskey, Kendre Miller, Chris Olave, Andrus Peat all did not practice. Miller, the word is they're likely to shut him down for the season. Just let him focus on recovery and getting ready for next year. Saints did add running back, free agent running back here on Wednesday. Pete was designated as an illness, Olave an ankle. Foskey still battling that quad injury. A handful of players were limited. Jimmy Graham, this was his non-injury related rest day. Same with Ryan Ramczyk, who was also listed with a knee designation. Taysom Hill limited with that foot and left hand injury that kept him out this last weekend against Carolina. Good for Taysom to get some downtime. Cam Jordan with the ankle, but he's continued to play through that injury. We just always expect he'll be out there. Rashid Shaheed with a thigh injury, who did tell reporters today he expects to play against the Giants here in Week 15. So that would be a huge boost for the Saints if Shaheed's out there. And then Jamal Williams was limited with that groin injury. So the Saints the Saints have been bitten by the injury bug at the running back spot. Kamara's missed time. We know Jamal Williams has missed time now with the groin injury. And Kendre Miller looks like he's going to be shut down for the rest of his rookie season. So it's been a tough sledding. I mean, Taysom Hill is your second leading rusher on this team right now, almost out of necessity. For the Giants, they're healthy, especially considering Week 15. It's odd that you go into a practice in Week 15 where you didn't have a DNP. For whatever it's worth, the Giants had a walkthrough, and so this wasn't a full practice. This was an estimated injury report. Remember, they played on Monday Night Football, so Tuesday would have been sort of an off day or a recovery day, and today would have was kind of like a walkthrough. But in any event, Cordell Flott, Dexter Lawrence, Azeez Ojulari, 3 defenders that were all limited. Evan Neal and N'Shawn Robinson as well. And then Evan Neal and Paris Campbell, the wide receiver, were both on the injury report. But Paris Campbell was a full participant, listed with the knee injury. So that's it. I mean, that's the extent of the injury report. 6 names, and everybody participated in some capacity. So the Giants are healthy, relatively speaking. I mean, they are playing a backup quarterback, but about as healthy as you could hope to be for an NFL team coming into Week 15. We are going to head to the Giants. We're going to head up to New York in about 8 minutes. We'll talk to Ryan Field, who works for WABC, covers the Giants, and we'll get a better sense on Brian Daboll and this team as they come down to New Orleans for the game against the Saints on Sunday. So that's coming up here in, again, about 10 minutes from right now. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 or go to williamsoneye.com. Tell you every day, I care, I wear, eye surgery. I'll actually be at Williamson tomorrow morning. Got my follow-up eye exam over at the Williamson Eye Center, so I'll be able to tell you how that goes, but I practice what I preach. You should always go for your annual eye exam. If you wear contacts or glasses, remember the Williamson Eye Center, they got an optical shop, so they can sell you contacts or glasses. And if you're interested in ditching the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can help with a full menu of refractive options. No matter your age or your refractive issue, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, you can trust the Williamson Eye Center. What a great gift that would be this Christmas. Give yourself or someone you love the gift of sight. The Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. I was asked this morning if I would want Bill Belichick to coach the Saints next year. Well, first things first. Bill Belichick would have to not return to New England. There's a report from NBC Sports in Boston citing anonymous sources that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots will split after this season. Bill Belichick with that, and by the way, it was stated that the decision was made after the loss to the Colts in Frankfurt, Germany on November the 12th. So that essentially reporting this decision was made a month ago. It's only now leaking out and reported by NBC Sports in Boston. With the report out there, Bill Belichick repeatedly was asked today about his future in New England, and he repeatedly gave the same answer.
Do you have an understanding that Robert will not ask you to be back next year?
Yeah, getting ready for Kansas City. That's what I'm doing.
Getting ready for Kansas City. That's what I'm doing. The reporters persisted.
Bill, while understanding that you're getting ready for Kansas City, have you and Robert discussed your future beyond the season?
Getting ready for Kansas City.
No, I don't want Bill Belichick in New Orleans next year, which is a ridiculous thing for me to say because Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach in NFL history. Bill Belichick, Curly Lambeau, George Halas. Those are the only three coaches that have won 6 championships. Only Belichick, obviously, has done it in the Super Bowl era. He is the greatest coach ever. And yes, I think what we are seeing here now is just how significant a piece of that whole thing Tom Brady was. But remember, it wasn't like Bill Belichick became a good coach suddenly when Tom Brady was there. Bill Belichick got the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. He was already, a successful not only head coach but defensive coordinator where he won Super Bowls with the Giants. Bill Belichick is one of the greatest defensive minds the game has ever seen. He's the greatest head coach the game has ever seen. Only Don Shula has won more games throughout a career than Belichick. We all know the list. But it is fair to say, what version of Belichick would you be getting? Now, there's 2 very important things that would have to happen first. Number 1 is the Saints would have to have an opening. The Saints would have to fire Dennis Allen. And to be quite frank, given this front office and this ownership's affinity for consistency and commitment to their coaches, I don't know that the Saints are going to fire Dennis Allen, number 1, especially if they go on a little run here and make the playoffs. On top of that, Bill Belichick would have to not be back in New England. So those are 2 very big pieces that would have to happen first. But, we deal where this is radio. We can have the conversation. This is a talk show. We can talk about it. We can have the conversation as to whether or not that would be a possibility. Pete Carroll is 71 years old. Forgive me, Pete's now 72. He made 72 in September. And Bill Belichick just made 71 in April. Those are the oldest coaches in the NFL right now, followed by Andy Reid, who is 65. He made 65 in March. Ron Rivera is 60. John Harbaugh is 60. Mike McCarthy's 59. Todd Bowles is 59. Then a big drop-off to Dennis Allen, who's 50. And I don't mean for this to be any type of like, forgive me, Doug Peterson's 54 and Matt Eberflus is 52. I don't mean for this to be any type of like a commentary based solely on age. But when you look at who are widely considered the best coaches in the NFL, I mean, Sean McVay won a Super Bowl. He's 36 years old. Zach Taylor, he's 39 years old. Got the Bengals to the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni was in the Super Bowl a year ago. He's 41 years old. Kyle Shanahan's 42. You see my point. Dan Campbell's 46. Robert Saleh's 43. I understand it's not going great for the Jets this year, but how different could it have been? I guess my point is, when you look at the best coaches in the NFL, and yes, the NFL is a copycat league, so much of what we look at is young, offensive-minded head coaches. What you have right now is a retread defensive coach. And there would be no more significant retread defensive coach in the history of the NFL than if you were to hire Bill Belichick. So what version of Belichick would you be getting at 72 years old? I mean, I think it's a very fair question. And I don't know that that's something that I'm interested in finding out the answer to. It would feel a lot like when you hired Mike Ditka back in 1996. Or 97, I guess. So no. If the Saints fired Dennis Allen, what I would really like to see them do is do what other successful franchises have done. Hire a young, offensive-minded head coach to get this offense moving in the right direction again. All right. We're a little late. Let me not get a break. We're going to move quickly here. When we come back, Ryan Field, WABC in New York. Talk about the Giants. Stay here.
AFR.
Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. That's complete employer solutions. If you are the business owner, if you are the employer, and you're looking for employees, qualified employees that can help match the needs of your job, your company, you got to trust Glow Resources. And this isn't a last resort. So many companies, they'll call a temp staffing agency as a last resort. First of all, Glow Resources, not a temp staffing agency. They're not interested in fielding dozens and dozens and dozens of phone calls from prospective employees. They'll find you. What Glow Resources is for companies is a first resource to help you find the best candidate first, to save you time and money. If the hiring market since COVID, God, it's been tough. Don't chance it. Get it right the first time and let Glow Resources help. GLO, glowresources.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade.
stumps. Your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They do a good job of running the ball, make opportunities when they have opportunities to be made. I'd say it's tied in, front and coverage is tied in well on the interceptions, but rallying to the ball and population and getting hands on the ball, that's important. So, effort is a lot of it. Again, coverage and front tied together, looks, need to try to keep doing this.
Brian Daboll, as the Giants coming off a Monday Night Football win, getting ready to head down to the Dome to take on the Saints on Sunday. Saints in the midst of a division race against all odds. Ryan Field there at WABC in New York, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here as the Giants, the G-Men, on a short week head down to the Dome. Ryan, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Happy holidays to you.
Same to you. We appreciate a couple of minutes. Tommy Cutlets, man. Can you give me some context around what it's been like? We see it nationally. What's it like there in the city?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. If there was ever a guy who was made to have success in this part of the country with all the Italian Americans who live here, people are eating up this paisan, if you will. He has instantly become the talk of the town. And listen, as you know from covering sports, when you win in New York, you get put on a different pedestal than you would in other towns. And right now, he is the toast of the town, and for good reason. I mean, look, they've won 3 in a row, and he's not out there putting up Patrick Mahomes-type numbers where he's throwing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he's providing a gritty stability at the position, which has been much needed over the course of this season and, frankly, the last couple seasons. And he's just kind of like an everyman. And I think because of that, he's developed a lot more fanfare, and people have really rallied behind him. And obviously with the hand gestures, and his teammates have bought into it. And, he's on the front page of all the papers here. And, frankly, in what's been a tough season for the Giants up until the last couple of weeks, it's certainly been a breath of fresh air, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Man, I was in New York this weekend for the Heisman with Jaden Daniels, and I was so bummed that the game was Monday Night Football because I would have loved to have been there for that.
I'm telling you, you would have been caught up in it like everybody else. How could you not be?
As a Moscona, you better believe it, man.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Tommy Cutlets over here.
And his dad had a tailgate for 300 people before the game on Monday, and of course they were serving chicken cutlets at the tailgate, and it's just become, it's almost, somebody made a good comparison. It's almost like Jeremy Lin, what he did for the Knicks back in 2012, where you had Linsanity that literally lasted all of 18 days, but up until last season was probably the best period of New York basketball in the previous decade. So it just goes to show you how starved they've been for a winner in this town, especially when it comes to their football team and their basketball team, that they can rally behind a guy like this. And frankly, it's been fun to see. It's been fun to watch. And as far as we're concerned at ABC, it's been fun to cover for sure.
Hey, man, it's like you're reading my notes because I had written down Linsanity as an example and how it would compare. And the question I was going to ask is, well, it's fun. Is it sustainable? So is it sustainable?
Listen, he's proven up to this point that it is. And I think most importantly, not only have the coaches bought in, but his teammates have bought in. They did everything but carry him off the field on Monday night after that come-from-behind win that some people are calling the mozzarella miracle. The fact that he led them right down the field and, rallied them to an improbable win in the final seconds. The guy who's a, third-string quarterback that starts the season had no business being on the field, really, but injuries have provided this opportunity, and he has certainly seized that chance. And listen, I think we'll find out this weekend if it's for real, if he has to go down there to the Dome, and if he wins that game on the road in a tough environment, then you know what? Who knows what he's capable of after that.
Okay, Ryan Field is with us. He's on Twitter at Ryan Field ABC, WABC Television, Channel 7 there in New York. The Giants are 5-8. With DeVito, we know Saquon's there. What works offensively for this team?
Well, I mean, right now it's a lot of play action, a lot of playing off of Saquon and what DeVito brings to the table, which we saw a lot of, a little bit of Daniel Jones in him in the sense that he can run the football. Had a couple of big runs in that game to keep drives alive. And listen, Brian Zabel and the coaching staff don't want him to go out and try to light the world on fire. They just want him to play within the system, complete the passes that are designed for him. If he has to use his legs to pick up a first down, then that's all they want him to do. They're trying to keep it simple. Their defense is pretty good. It's kept them in some games, and has certainly helped them win the last three. And he's providing just enough of a spark from an offensive standpoint to deliver them some big wins. Now, listen, they have not beaten any incredibly good teams, I would argue. I mean, the Packers have certainly been playing better. Jordan Love had been playing a lot better, so that was certainly an impressive win. I mean, listen, he's won the games that he's been capable of winning. You could argue this is another game this weekend, but then they have the Eagles twice over the last 3 weeks. And if he goes out and does some damage and somehow leads them over a win over the Eagles, a team that the Giants, frankly, have not beaten in several years, then they're going to do everything but erect a statue of him here in town at that point.
Are they legit? Look, at 5-8, the last teams vying for the NFC, the final wildcard spot, are sitting at 6-7. So are there legitimate talks there in New York about the Giants potentially making a wild card push here?
I think a big part of it is what I just mentioned about the schedule, knowing that the Eagles are still trying to play for home field, and they're going to have something to play for over these final 3 weeks. That I think Giants fans, knowing their history against the Eagles, aren't exactly betting the house that they're going to make the playoffs. So I think, if nothing else, it's just a good story right now where nothing, like I said, had gone right for most of the season until these last 3 weeks. And they've given Giants fans some hope, a reason to tune in, a reason to have some chicken cutlet sandwich watching the game. I mean, there's just anything. They're just kind of grasping at straws this season.
Okay.
And listen, he goes out and beats New Orleans. They're 6-8. There's still a lot of teams they have to jump over in that jumbled NFC playoff picture at the bottom of the bracket there, if you will. So I think people are being realistic, but they're also kind of caught up in the moment with the excitement and hoping and praying that maybe he'll be able to pull off a miracle or two against the Eagles in a couple of weeks.
I can respect the optimism, but also the realism. It's at Saints, at Eagles, Rams, Eagles to finish for the Giants. Let me get a thought defensively. I mean, the job that Wink Martindale and them have done is at times been really, really impressive me. The 10-7 win over New England and getting the stops that you needed against Green Bay. How does that defense, where that defense has been susceptible, where has it been? Where have the shortcomings been?
Well, I think like most defenses, when they don't get a consistent pass rush, I mean, their secondary is not the best. Their linebackers are good. I wouldn't say that they're upper echelon of the NFL. But when you've got guys like Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau wreaking havoc on the quarterback, I think that's where they've been successful. And listen, to Wink Martindale's credit, they have certainly gotten better as the season has gone on. But much to what we just spoke about, I think some of that has to do with the opponents here in the last few weeks, too. They've certainly won games that they're supposed to win. And listen, they go down there and shut down the Saints in the Dome. I think that'll really be a feather in their cap. I don't know if I'm ready to make that prediction just yet. Going to sit on it for a couple more days, but it's certainly a game that's going to provide a lot of intrigue to a lot of people, and rightfully so.
Saints put up 207 total yards against Carolina. They stink.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's possible.
Right. There you go.
What's the blueprint for the Giants if they do come to the Dome and get a win? How does it look?
I think it looks at what I just said. I think it's got to be Kayvon Thibodeau wreaking havoc, who's having a really nice season here. Their D-line getting to the quarterback, and I think Tommy continues to not make the big mistake. I mean, he's thrown. What did I see today? That he's thrown 9 touchdowns this season, and so has Patrick Mahomes or something like that. Like I don't know what the stat was that I read, but it was some incredible comparison, and that's basically what he's done. He's come in there and not made the big mistake. He's played within himself, within the offense, and they're going to continue to make that their recipe for success here. Are they going to have to take some more chances, to your point, against a team like the Eagles as opposed to the Saints? Absolutely. They're going to have to open things up a little bit to have a chance to win that game. But for right now, I think they're going to have that same sound foundation to come down there and try to do what they've been doing the last 3 weeks to get a win in New Orleans.
He is Ryan Field on Twitter at Ryan Field ABC. That's WABC Channel 7 there in New York, talking some Giants. Hey, man, we appreciate a couple of minutes. If you're coming down to New Orleans, man, safe travels. We appreciate you.
I appreciate that, man. Always good chatting with you, and have a wonderful holiday season.
That's our pleasure. Same to you. That is Ryan Field, covering the Giants there up in New York City. I love the Nat sound, right? You could hear the police whistles directing traffic. You could hear the horns. You could almost hear the fog coming up from the manhole covers as he stepped out onto the street, no doubt, to do that interview. We appreciate it very much. Authentic.
You just needed a cabbie yelling at somebody or somebody trying to hail a cab.
I'm trying to cross the street here. Going to see Tommy freaking Cutlets. Tommy Cutlets. It's so good. For those that don't know, the genesis of the Tommy Cutlets thing. So Tommy DeVito, who's from New York, who went to Syracuse and then transferred to Illinois for his last year. A couple of weeks ago, he's doing an interview, and he says he lives at home. He lives at home with his parents. He's like, I got someone to make my bed. Mom's making meals. It's chicken cutlets. I mean, why would I leave? It's a very Italian thing, too, by the way, like to live at home until you're married. It's kind of amazing. So anyway, so there's the Tommy Cutlets thing where that stems from, for those that aren't familiar. Says mom makes him chicken cutlets, and I'm not mad. I would love a chicken cutlet right now. I think that would be delicious. I might have a chicken cutlet. Anyone want to bring me a chicken cutlet for dinner? I would love that. A little Parmesan, a little marinara, some red wine. Why not? Let's make a night of it, y'all. Let's get crazy. All right, so the Giants and Tommy Cutlets are coming to the Dome on Sunday. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging. Let me knock out a quick break. We will wrap up hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 great hotel properties here in Baton Rouge. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance on South. And hey, remember, at the Renaissance, yes, holidays are here, Christmas time, you got family coming in from out of town, you need a place for them to stay, you can always stay at the Renaissance. Super convenient. Right off of I-10 at Bluebonnet, between the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row on the other side of the street, however, but you can't miss it. You know where the Renaissance is. They're a great dining option, obviously with Tallulah right there. They have more suites than any hotel in Baton Rouge. The amenities are gorgeous. Check it out. It's the Renaissance Hotel. And remember, as you're starting to think about 2024, if you're going to be having an event, maybe an awards banquet, a ceremony, a wedding reception, whatever it might be, a fundraiser, at the Renaissance Hotel, they always say, we're in the business of saying yes. They can host your event. So contact them today over at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Thank you, Acadiana, for over 56 years of allowing Corbell Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corbell Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Moon Griffon is back. The voice of Louisiana politics makes his return to Baton Rouge. Catch the Moon Griffon Show weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on Talk 107.3.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight.
A video portrays a West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputy appearing to gloat about shooting into the back of a fleeing car. That video is so concerning, prosecutors and investigators now have it. Already, his alleged actions led to charges of illegal discharge of a firearm and obstruction of justice. See the new video tonight. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing, and sheet metal.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust invite you to bling in the holidays. Register today at 1045ESPN.com to win a $10,000 custom piece of jewelry handcrafted by Stuart Selassie himself. Bling in the holidays with Citizens Bank and Trust, Selassie Jewelry, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Russ Mitchell in about 25 minutes from right now. Right now, Muso as Tigers in the Pro.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, let's start with some injury updates from the NFL. We've got a trio of them to get to. We'll start with the not so good, and that's Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit been placed on injured reserve with a groin issue. He suffered that in Sunday's victory over the Jaguars. Put together a really nice performance, actually, in that game as well. And of course, last week signed a 3-year extension worth $36 million with the Cleveland Browns. So a bit of a roller coaster here for Delpit. Extension, pretty good game. Also an injury that sent him to injured reserve. For what it's worth, he will be able to return for the postseason if the Browns hold steady and do make it into the AFC's race for the Super Bowl. The Tennessee Titans have placed cornerback Christian Fulton on injured reserve. Fulton has been out for some time here with a hamstring injury, and now will be out at least 4 more weeks. That effectively ends his season as the Titans. They're not officially eliminated from playoff contention, but sitting at 5-8, they definitely have an uphill climb. So we'll keep you updated, potentially if something crazy happens there. But for all intents and purposes, Christian Fulton's season now wrapped up with a trip to injured reserve. Now the good news, Justin Jefferson, we told you this on Monday. Of course, remember he had the hamstring injury, was on IR, came back, made his return, caught 2 balls, was sent to the hospital with a chest injury because of precaution. After the game, Monday at his press conference, Kevin O'Connell said that Justin Jefferson was day-to-day. Justin Jefferson has said, hey, coach, I'm playing. That's what Jefferson said. He expects to be in the lineup this weekend and anticipates taking on a full workload. For what it's worth, he was listed as limited yesterday. But he wants to be out there. See Jamar, face Jamar, the Bengals. Will Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase battle this Sunday? Jet says he'll be out there. One NBA note to get for you here. It's the G League, as a matter of fact. Javonte Smart last night, 11 points in the ball game for the Delaware Bluecoats. Shot 31% from the floor. Not his best effort there. Did add 5 rebounds and 3 assists, though, in a Blue Coats loss. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. That's LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, Christmas is almost here. What are you going to get her? Diamonds. Why would you do anything else? Lee Michaels can help. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, the best selection you'll find anywhere at the best prices. And, of course, you always get the Lee Michaels experience, no matter your budget. There's a reason they've been around helping all of Baton Rouge and Louisiana get engaged for more than 40 years. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Kim Mulkey's LSU women's basketball team beat McNeese 133-44. School record for points, school record for margin of victory. They went on a 47-0 run. Kim Mulkey was asked if she's ever seen that before.
I told him at half we held them scoreless in that second quarter. And I told him then, I'm not sure I've ever been a part of that. And you don't think about it when you're in the moment. I don't know that I have. And I don't care who you're playing. That is kind of crazy.
A 47-0 run in a basketball game with scholarship players. What? It's whatever. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, we're wrapping up hour number 2. I love telling you about Relief Windows. I tell you what, Relief Windows compared to those other companies feels like LSU women going on a 47-0 run against McNeese. That's what it feels like when you call Relief Windows. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, Hardy playing vinyl siding, and now they do shutters as well. Maybe this Christmas, instead of getting each other gifts, let your gifts to your significant other, to yourselves, be beautiful replacement windows or shutters in your home. And you always want to call Relief Windows. You want custom windows made to the exact specification of your home, the best quality products as well. I tell you often, if your HOA requires wood windows, Relief Windows has a wood window product that comes with a lifetime warranty. Say that out loud. Lifetime warranty on wood windows, they have it at Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com. That's reliefwindows.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, continuing to wait for a decision from the NBA on whether another suspension will be given to Warriors forward Draymond Green, ejected for a third time this season after a flagrant 2 foul last night when he swung and hit Sun center Yusuf Nurkic in the head while defending him. The league's reviewing the incident. Last night marked just the 6th game back for Green from a 5-game suspension for putting T-Wolves center Rudy Gobert in a headlock. Another potential suspension for Green, not exactly what Golden State needs, explains ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
They are 2-5 this year in games where he has been ejected or suspended. They are 3 games below 500. They are in 11th place. They have a $400 million payroll. Everybody knows this could be the last dance. And whether he's suspended for 5 games or 12 or whatever, he's hurting the team badly.
Patriots coach Bill Belichick today asked multiple times about a report that owner Bob Kraft deciding not to bring him back next season, replied every time he's getting ready for Kansas City. The Patriots are home to the Chiefs on Sunday.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Oh, by the way, it's Hump Day.
It's Hump Day.
Yeah, it is.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's game day for the LSU basketball team.
Hump Day.
Alabama A&M coming in.
It's Hump Day.
No. It's Alabama State.
Same thing.
Mike.
No.
What day is it, Mike?
Tiger's going to get it done tonight, Muse.
Hump Day.
I
hope so.
I feel a dub coming on.
It's Hump Day.
Might be the last one for a while.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Ah, look, they'll lose to Texas this weekend.
Hump Day.
And then they play Lamar.
It's Hump Day.
And then they play Northwestern State.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And then they go to College Station, and then they're not going to win one.
Hump Day.
But
It's Hump Day.
Jalen Cook.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Could be eligible.
Hump Day.
NCAA.
It's Hump Day.
Complying with a West Virginia judge's ruling today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
14-day waiver period.
Hump day.
All transfers eligible.
It's hump day.
Could it be permanent?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Maybe. Hope so.
Hump day.
All right, Russ Mitchell in about 10 minutes from right now.
It's hump day.
He texted me and said he had a lot he wanted to say, so could he come on? I'm like, sure, come on, Russ. Let's do it.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We'll kick tires and all that good stuff. All right, let's get going here. By the way, tonight, literally 1 hour from right now, 6 o'clock Central Time on the SEC Network, they're having the 2024 football schedule reveal. So we will learn, we know who LSU is playing in 24. We will learn the order in which the games are going to be played. I went through it yesterday. I made all my predictions for it based on the ones we already know, where ones we can assume, like rivalry weekends and certain weekends that teams play, like when Alabama and Tennessee play in October. Of course, we know that LSU is going to be playing Alabama in November. There's 2 byes this year. I believe LSU is going to play Oklahoma on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's the only thing that makes sense when you play out the schedule. So in any event, we'll find that out coming up in about an hour from right now. LSU is getting ready for their bowl game. And as we mentioned yesterday, the Tigers released a little video of LSU getting back to work on the indoor practice facility, or at the indoor practice facility on Monday. And people were looking over that like there's a Zapruder film. Like, all right, who do you see? Who do you see is there? Do we see Malik? Do we see Brian Thomas? Yes. Malik and Brian Thomas were out there. That was certainly notable. Will Campbell was out there. I don't know that we got to see a ton more, but Trey Holly, Major Burns, some of the guys, Mason Taylor featured in that video. So we're kind of looking at who's available for the game. One thing we know is that Wisconsin will not have one of their best defensive players. Linebacker Jordan Turner entered the transfer portal. Played 3 years at Wisconsin. Went to Wisconsin as a 3-star. Number 615 overall in the country. Not one of the more highly regarded players in the country, but went to Wisconsin. Has been a really productive player for 3 years. As a matter of fact, this year for Wisconsin's defense, Jordan Turner had 61 tackles, which is 3rd on the team, 6.5 tackles for loss, which is 4th, and 3 sacks, which was 3rd. So you're taking away one of the best defensive players on that Wisconsin defense for this bowl game against an LSU team that, as we see, is going to have most of its complement of players. I mean, Kyron Lacey is practicing, Malik Neighbors is practicing, Brian Thomas is practicing. Obviously, their linebacker is going to be out covering receivers, but it looks like LSU's full offensive line is out there as well. And to this point, aside from the 7 players that we've heard enter the transfer portal, we have not yet heard of any players that are opting out of the bowl game. Now, I suspect we will hear that in time. But Brian Kelly, can you pull it, by the way, Brian Kelly from last week? I'm sorry, Muse. Brian Kelly, the cut where he talked about they expect that they'll have their full complement of players available for this bowl game because, and it's hard to disagree. Remember what Kelly said? After the regular season ended, they spent that week sort of going through their player evaluations. And then last week they were supposed to go through their coaching evaluations, and now they're getting ready for the bowl game. So when Brian Kelly met with reporters last week, he had already had the conversation with the whole team, their exit meetings, player evaluation. So he knew at that point, presumably, who was going to be available and who wasn't. And here's what Kelly said last week about their roster availability for the bowl.
This is going to be a team that's well represented with its stars. They want to play in this game. They want to be part of it. Some will have other decisions to make, but this will be a football team that's focused to play this game and is excited to play.
It's hard to argue against that at this point, considering the guys that are out there getting ready for this bowl game. Now, you're going to be facing this Wisconsin defense that allowed just under 19 points per game and about 330 yards per game. But again, a Wisconsin defense that's going to be without linebacker Jordan Turner against the best offense in college football. The biggest unknown is Jaden Daniels, of course. And none of us expect him to play in this bowl game. Of course, we'd love to see him play, but I don't think many of us are expecting him to play. And if he doesn't, how much does that affect negatively this LSU offense? That's something that remains to be seen. But we'll wait on decisions from is Logan Diggs going to play or is he going to go pro? I mentioned all 3 interior players on the offensive line. Charles Turner, Miles Frazier, Garrett Dellinger. They could all go pro. They could all return. We'll start to get some of those announcements. And even the guys that decide to go pro, are they going to play in this bowl game? Remains to be seen. The defensive front seven is a huge question, which that'll start to play out. Smith, Wingo, Guillory on the inside. Are those guys going to return? What about some of your edge guys? Paris Shand, Braden Swinson. Those guys could return or they could leave. Do they play? We'll see. We'll start to get some of those announcements. But again, the further along you go, as LSU has begun bowl practice, that you haven't had bowl opt-out announcements kind of suggests that these guys are going to play. Most of them are going to play. So, I think Brian Kelly's right. He knows they're going to be well represented. That's pretty apparent at this point. Okay, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. I want to talk transfer portal quarterbacks in just a second, but of course, Pure Restoration, Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Same company. Same great patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Same great people. Locally owned and operated. I've told you about Jim Woodworth for a couple of years now. Awesome dude. He's an Air Force veteran. Helped recovery efforts post 9/11 in New York. Found his way down to Louisiana after the BP oil spill. Stayed. Mold Zero, which is now Pure Restoration, helps through remediation. If you have water intrusion from any number of things, storm damage, busted pipes, whatever it may be, Pure Restoration can help. Look, they have a full menu of services that include demolition and build back if you need it. But remember, if you got mold, so easy. Don't cut sheetrock and pull carpet out and take out furniture. It's easy. Just call Pure Restoration. They'll come spray their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. As soon as the fog dissipates, you can go back in totally safe for pets and plants and your family, everything. It's Pure Restoration. Learn more. Pure-restoration.com. That's pure-restoration.com. I wanted to take a quick second and update the transfer portal tracker just because there's been some news. Grayson McCall, the Coastal Carolina quarterback, made his decision. He's committed to NC State. And so these are some of the bigger names that were in the portal that we're now learning their destination. Tyler Van Dyke, the Miami quarterback, he's headed to Wisconsin. So, of course, LSU is going to play Wisconsin in this bowl game. Van Dyke's not eligible to play in the bowl game, but that's where he's headed. We learn Riley Leonard, the Duke quarterback, is headed to Notre Dame. Another ACC quarterback. A year ago it was Sam Hartman, who spent a year at Notre Dame. Now it's Riley Leonard, who will go spend a year in South Bend. Incidentally, Riley Leonard's first game as the Notre Dame quarterback will be against Mike Elko, his former head coach at Duke. So, we're learning some of these. Max Brown from Florida is headed to the University of Charlotte. And there's still some other names that are to be determined. Jeff Sims is leaving Nebraska. He's undecided. Dylan Morris is leaving the University of Washington. He's undecided. So, the two quarterbacks that we know LSU had interest in were Talon Green from Boise State, who's picked Arkansas, and MJ Morris from NC State, who's still undecided. And it was interesting today because Matt Zenitz from On3 had a report, and he was kind of updating some of what he's hearing. And I'm paraphrasing here what Matt Zenitz reported, but basically that LSU is going to stick with Garrett Nussmeier. And I want to be abundantly clear so is that there is no confusion. All of the times that we've talked about quarterbacks and bringing in transfers, I've said this plenty of times. I just don't know that everybody necessarily hears it when I say it. But it's not an anti-Garrett Nussmeier take. I would be thrilled if Garrett Nussmeier takes the reins as the starting quarterback and has a great season. The point that I have made and will continue to make, so by contrast, if LSU decides not to pursue Cam Ward, DJU, one of the big names in the portal that's going to cost $1 million, okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with saying Garrett Nussmeier is, we think, as good or better option than those guys. Now, he doesn't have the experience of a DJU or a Cam Ward, actual playing experience. But if that's a decision you make, okay. What I am saying, and have continued to say, is you have got to bring in a depth piece in the portal. If you can fill the gap between fourth-year Garrett Nussmeier and redshirt freshman Ricky Collins, that's what you have to do. You have to fill that gap with some level of experience. They've gone in home with MJ Morris. He's still undecided. Maybe it's that. And if it is, great. Maybe it's another player. I don't know. but I'll continue to say it is unacceptable to go into next season with only 3 scholarship quarterbacks, with Nussmeier, Collins, and Colin Hurley. That cannot be your reality when you tee it up and kick it off in Vegas against USC next year. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Ball of Louisiana. I got trivia tonight, so we get to some Pluckers trivia in about 15 minutes from right now. Let me knock out a break. When we come back, Russ Mitchell joins us next. Save our
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. That's right. Darren James has launched a new group, LPT Realty, which will give so many expanded resources to you, the homeowner, as you're selling your home. Darren James will have increased access to communication and so many other resources to help sell your home for the highest dollar possible. So you're matching and marrying here the number one realtor in the state of Louisiana. Wall Street Journal's lists the top 1% of realtors in America, and a new company that's growing at an exponential rate that's going to give you expanded resources. I want to also mention, if you are a realtor or are thinking about getting your realtor's license, you need to call Darren James and learn about LPT Realty. Their structure and how they're allowing the realtor to keep more commissions is something that could change your life. Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Russ Mitchell.
Kicking the tires and lighting the fires.
Russ!
Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
Rusty, come on up here.
Absolutely, I thought that was going to happen because it's state. It's supposed to happen.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
How are things out there at DBU?
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
The only way you can point up is up.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
It's like Troy.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Put your foot on his throat and choke him out.
Take it, Russ. All right, let's do it. Season's over. Jaden got his Heisman. And I get a text from Russ Mitchell saying, hey, I want to come on the show. There's stuff I want to talk about. Come on down. He is Russ Mitchell. How are you?
Kicking tires, lighting fires.
I love it, man. Thanks for coming on the Heisman preview show Saturday up in New York. Really enjoyed that convo and enjoyed the night, man. It was really cool to be up in New York for the Heisman.
You know, I've been voting in that thing now for, 15 years or something like that. And I've only been once. I went for, I take it really seriously. You know, we've talked about that. But I've only been one time, and I had a blast. I mean, I had such a fantastic time. So I'm glad you had a good time. And, I mean, the outcome was the outcome that I felt was the right one. So, you know, I'm just really glad. It just really frustrates me, this process every year, man. Every year it frustrates me when I sit down and I talk to some of the folks that I know that are Heisman voters, and how this cabal goes about voting is almost as incestuous and broken as the college football playoff.
Well, I've compared it. It's not that dissimilar from elections where people want to vote for the winner. I mean, I think that's a pretty common thing. People vote in with the masses.
I think there's definitely part of that. You know, I since the college conference championships were created, I've gotten even more frustrated because I personally believe that should not factor in to an annual trophy, since not everybody gets the chance to play in those games. But, you know, a lot of people disagree with me and wait until after those games are played. And you saw a lot of people, for example, change their vote from Knicks, you know, and move it over to Penix. But to me, you know, so disappointed because it was abundantly clear who the winner of this was. This is one of the easiest votes I've ever made for the Heisman. In fact, the only vote that was easier was Burrow.
Well, it's interesting because Burrow won in a landslide. Like, he literally won by the largest margin in the history of the award. Why was this easy?
I mean, I had never seen a quarterback play like this, let alone on a team that had no defense. By the way, there's another thing to remember. This LSU defense was going to be remembered in the state of Louisiana forever. But over time, it would gradually disappear into the ether. It's never disappearing now. It will never disappear now. Forever, when people talk about Jaden Daniels or the Heisman or Heisman winners with multiple losses, they're going to point to the fact that, and Jaden Daniels won it with one of the worst defenses ever for the Louisiana State University Fighting Tigers. So, you know, for me, this was, you know, it's interesting. I remember another time there was an LSU Tiger was when Henry was going against Fournette.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to vote Fournette in that one. You know, I thought he was such a special player, particularly in college. But, you know, LSU had no offensive line. They weren't going to throw the ball. Teams, particularly Alabama, given the head-to-head against Henry, just came up and stacked 9 guys on the line, and Fournette couldn't run. Meanwhile, Saban, if you remember that year, as the season went along, just kept giving the ball more and more and more to Henry. 26 carries, 29 carries, 32 carries, 35 carries as the season went along, and Henry just got stronger and stronger and stronger. So that was also a pretty easy, despite the fact that at the beginning of the year, you know,
obviously my heart was leaning towards Fournette, but it became fairly clear as the season went along that the production and the performance of Henry was clear.
Well, Leonard actually, November did Leonard in, but Leonard led the country in rushing that year.
Yep.
Not in total yards, but in yards per game, which is actually how the rushing champion is determined because, as you mentioned, not everybody plays the same number of games. So the NCAA does actually recognize the rushing champion by the yards per game leader, and that was Leonard, even despite the really rocky November. But
the other thing is it's also how you finish, right? And that's what plays into the conference championships. That's what gives those games so much more authority. People, and this is true about so many things in life. It's did you lose at the end or did you lose at the beginning? That matters. And in that particular year, Henry got stronger and stronger as the season went along.
Russ Mitchell's with us. He's on Twitter at Russ Mitchell CFB. It is interesting though. LSU broke their long drought. Bama never had a Heisman winner until 2009. Now they've had 4.
I know.
Georgia hasn't
crazy.
had. Georgia, despite all their success, hasn't had a Heisman winner since Herschel Walker, which is kind of crazy. You wonder, are they ever going to break through and get one?
1982. It's interesting too because if you think about consensus All-Americans, right, which is typically where you're going to find your Heisman winners. When you think about consensus All-Americans, Alabama's 4th of all colleges with 84 consensus All-Americans, and it took them all the way to 2009.
Yeah.
If you look at where Georgia is right now in the list, Georgia is tied with Louisiana State University at 14th with 39 consensus All-Americans. I think the difference, particularly right now, as we look at Georgia as it's achieved this level of excellence, we talked about this during Mark Richt's stay. I'd have to go back and look at my stats, but we used to talk about this on your show all the time. Richt couldn't win the important games. He could get to 9 wins. He could get to 10 wins. But against SEC teams that just had a 500 record, Mark Richt, in the back half of his career at Georgia, had a losing record. He wasn't winning the important games. And that's where a Heisman really stands out, is winning those big games, those important games. If you look at what Georgia has accomplished now with Kirby, this has largely been driven by defense. It's largely been driven by epic defenses. It's not to say they haven't had talented offenses or that they haven't had, some success on the offensive side of the ball, but it's been largely driven by defense, and defensive players don't win championships. With the exception of Woodson and Manning. Did I ever tell you my story about being at the Downtown Athletic Club with the head of the Heisman Trust?
I don't think so.
And I was waiting to get on the elevator, and we were standing by the elevator door, and the elevator doors, and next to it was a door that said elevator shaft. And the word shaft was, and I said, "Is that where you keep Peyton's trophy?" It didn't go over very well.
I'm sure he really appreciated that.
It didn't go over very well.
We missed you last week, and so you didn't
recovering.
So you didn't have the opportunity to talk about the 4. I know it's been bandied about a bunch, but you want to go ahead and speak your piece whichever way?
Yeah. By the way, I heard your show on Monday. For those who didn't get to listen to that little sweet bit of radio gold, you should go online and listen. I don't listen to Timmy all the time, but I mean, wow, he was on fire. Everybody knows they got screwed. It was simply a matter of you got to have an SEC team, and if you're going to put in Alabama, you can't not put in Texas. So you got to put Texas in. That means Florida State gets left out. But what I want all your listeners to know is this, and we talked about this in year 1. The college football playoff worked perfectly. It worked exactly the way it was intended to work. And that is no transparency, business focus, whatever you think is going to make the most money. That's how it was set up. It was set up for that, right? It was set up, by the way, to protect, first of all, the private promoters that run these useless bowl games at the end of the season, right? These are owned by people, individuals for the most part. Now ESPN owns half of them because they use them to make money as content. But for the most part, up till recently, till ESPN, these are owned by people that make money off them, private promoters like rock and roll concerts who basically bribed our system by giving payola to athletic directors. It was an absolute fraud and limited our ability to have a playoff. That being said, it's money that drives this system, and they set this college football playoff structure up to preserve the ability to be able to choose whatever would drive the most money. And I'm sorry, Alabama, Michigan drives more money than Florida State, Michigan. And voila.
I understand why it happened. Doesn't mean it's the right thing to happen. And the more we scream about it, the more likely we are to wake people up and ultimately affect change, which will happen next year.
Yes, yes. And by the way, you remember when people were saying, if we go from 2 to 4, there'll be no more controversy. No more controversy in college.
Did anybody actually say that?
Yeah, so many people said that, mostly people who were against this natural evolution, this inevitable evolution of the sport. In my state, the high school winner, if you win a high school championship, you play 15 games.
Yeah.
It's like high school kids can do that, but we can't do it in college? Come on, man.
No, you can't do it because there's travel and ticket sales.
Whatever.
And they have class, Russ. They have class.
Class. High school kids don't study. I do think it's interesting because I've been hearing people say, now what we should do with the bowls, because remember, there's still people making lots of money. Now what we should do with the bowls, because they're becoming inconsequential, is we should move them to the beginning of the season.
Oh, God.
Right? Now, but basically, so first of all, we talked about this as well. One of the great things about going to a 12-team playoff is that you can lose a game or two in the beginning of the season and still have a chance to make the 12-team playoff. So you're going to see September. So if you love college football, Septembers are about to become heaven for you. Orgasmic. There are going to be so many great out-of-conference games in September because there's lots of money that you can build into these games. Now, I prefer doing home and homes because, I love the stadiums, and I think you should reward the fans and the local restaurants and hotels and everybody that support the local team. But that being said, there's going to be so many opportunities to do these games in Las Vegas. You think we got them now? You think we got USC versus LSU to start the season now? In another 3 years, you're going to wake up on September 1st, and between the 1st and the 15th, there's going to be 50 of these games.
It's going to be so
And
good.
It is going to be the exact opposite of November. What weekend was it again? That you guys played Georgia State?
It's the second to last weekend of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be the exact opposite of the second to last game of the weekend. So, that is going to be fun. And by the way, anybody that tells you that we're still going to have the same problem that we had with Florida State with teams 13, 14, and 15, you know who was like the 13th team this year? It was LSU, right?
Yeah.
Look, LSU had no argument. I would have loved to see LSU. It would have been fun. They're a great team, and it would have been good TV, and I like watching Jaden. But come on, man. LSU's got no leg to stand on for getting to play in a playoff with 3 losses and a defense that's that bad. So, yes, there'll be some controversy. Yes, it'll be like relegation in the English Premier League, where as you get towards the end of the season, everybody's watching to see which teams drop out, right? Sort of like March Madness, first team out, that sort of thing, right? But it's not as bad as Florida State getting screwed.
LSU at 9-3 is ranked 13th. They're the highest ranked 3-loss team. So
yeah, I think
you don't have an argument.
I think OU is the first team out, right?
Oklahoma's 12.
Because
but you'd have a G5 in there.
Yes, you have to take one of the G5s. And by the way, just like we've been talking about for 20 years, or however long we've had the G5, there really should be a G5 playoff too.
Of course there should be, but there's no money in that because no one wants to see it.
Well, it's content. You can put it on ESPN. It won't be great.
But they're not. But the one payout as part of their college football playoff
is the bowl game
is going to be more of a rev share than the entirety of a G5 playoff that nobody cares to watch.
Well, the kids who are playing care.
I get it. Yeah. But the kids don't get to make the decision. The people
I'll watch.
I get it. But you don't. The people who make the decision are the ones that follow the money, and they want the bowls. They want the money.
We talked about this before. You get 2 weeks off to study for finals and get everything done. Then you start the playoffs. You do group of fives on Tuesday and Wednesday.
They'll never do it, Russ.
You do bowl games on Thursdays and Fridays.
The G5 is never going to do it, Russ, because there's no money in the group of five. That's the point. I've been yelling about this forever. Yes, you're right. The G5 should have their own playoff. Power 5 should never, ever, ever play G5. Ever. But the reason they keep doing it is because they'd rather get their asses kicked in 3 road games and take a big check and have one big payout from the college football playoff than go do their own fair and equitable thing because they need the money.
Yeah, they need the money. Actually, it's not like they want to do it. They need the money, and this is where they get the money. I have to remember that sometimes I get all passionate about this, and I have to stop myself and remind myself that, like, I'm probably the only person watching many of these games. Like, there's probably times at 2:30 in the morning West Coast time when I am literally the only person watching a show on ESPN, right? Like, I am the only person watching the replay of Tennessee versus Kentucky. So, yes, maybe there isn't that big of a demand for a group of 5 playoffs.
If there was, it would exist.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch football. You and sports bettors. That's about it. All right, we got to go. Thank you as always. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll see you when we do.
Not if I see you first, brother.
Amen.
Talk to you later.
Later, man. We'll see you. That's Russ Mitchell. This is After Further Review. Stick around.
AFR.
Pluckers, title sponsor of our Hump Day shows all throughout the year. Hey, we got sports trivia coming up here in mere minutes. If you're looking for something to do tonight, maybe knocked off of work already, got a family in town already for the holidays, like the Griswolds when they come for like 3 weeks, that doesn't even make sense. Like, who really does that? Like, who really goes to their family Christmas for like 3 weeks? Anyway, go to Pluckers, Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Say it every day. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Pelly's tonight at 6. You got LSU men's basketball tonight at 7. So you need a place to watch. You can get by Pluckers. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings, drink your beer, and you can play trivia. 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Live action trivia, spin the prize wheel, win gift cards from Pluckers, Amazon, other great local retailers. It's Pluckers. Remember, at Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Hurry into your local Acura dealer for the Season of Performance event going on now.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
A couple of really quick transfer portal tidbits, some breaking news here. 2 things. One, Pete Thamel reporting Texas quarterback Malik Murphy intends to enter the transfer portal. He has alerted the Texas coaching staff of his intentions. A lot of people had wondered what might happen there with Arch Manning. Arch Manning staying put. It is instead Malik Murphy who is hitting the transfer portal. One of the LSU targets, LSU had 2 known transfer portal targets at quarterback, and now they are both off the board. NC State quarterback MJ Morris, this is according to Hayes Fawcett over at On3, MJ Morris has committed to Maryland. Announcement coming just minutes ago. Morris, 6'2", 205-pounder, 3 years of eligibility remaining. So MJ Morris headed to Maryland. The 2 quarterbacks LSU had been pursuing in the transfer portal, now both off the board. We'll see if LSU decides to jump in the mix for anyone else. I'll continue to say my point. I'm great with Nussmeier. You've got to have somebody else in that quarterback room to add some experience, quality, depth. So we'll see what LSU might do between now and obviously early signing day, which is 1 week from today. And then players who are in the portal can make their announcement whenever they want, but you can only enter the portal in that 30-day window, which has now been open for a couple of weeks and will stay open for a couple more, really throughout the month of December. It's when if a player is going to go in the portal, they got to make the announcement in December, then they can, or officially go in the portal in December, they can make their announcement wherever they're going to choose anytime thereafter. Okay. All right, Muse, let's do it. Hit me with some trivia.
It's time for Plucker's Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Plucker's Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
Muse, it's like the voice guy's trolling you, man.
Well, you know, if it's not going to be him doing it, it'll be you. And if it's not you, it'll be Paul.
When do I ever troll you?
Every day.
I don't troll you.
Every single day.
I don't think I've ever trolled you, Muse.
Every day.
No. I just sit here and I speak truth and honesty to our audience.
After that intro, whenever he says how many will Musso get wrong today, you have multiple times gone, all of them. That's part of the troll. That's contributing to the troll.
Well, it's just factual, Muse. I mean, you're really not good at this. Are you good at trivia?
Depends on the category.
I think you've had a winning record twice ever.
That's not true.
I believe that is.
But it's easy to say that when we don't actually track it.
Paulie, is that true?
Pretty close.
You had one week in total where you got them all right. That was the anime week, which is really weird.
Yes. That was luck.
Or maybe you really love anime.
I don't. I promise you I don't.
I don't believe you.
Well, that's your opinion. I do not love
Well,
anime.
I actually have some evidence to suggest my opinion is correct because we did one anime round and you got them all right.
Yeah, it was 3 questions. Very small sample size. If we were to broaden that, there's no chance.
Paulie, how many would you have gotten right?
Only 0.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
You don't know that for sure.
Hey,
Paul, you
Muse,
could've
which
guessed.
American Pro Sports League awards the President's Trophy each season?
Which
Which American Pro Sports League awards the President's Trophy each season?
I don't know. The World Tennis Tour?
No. It's the NHL. It's the team with the best record. Gets the President's Trophy. Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
In what 2020 Netflix movie does Chris Hemsworth play a mercenary hired to rescue the kidnapped son of an international crime lord?
I don't know. I don't even have a guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't even have a guess on that. I'm just gonna sit that one out.
That's called Extraction.
Yeah.
That'd have been what we were looking. Paul, did you know that? Of course you did. Paulie knew that. Yeah, of course you knew that, Paulie. All right, one more, Muse. By the way, Paulie, I don't even want to chart this now. Maybe we should chart Muse's records moving forward.
Let's do that.
That's another losing record for Muse, just as an
Let's
FYI.
chart them. Let's do that.
Hey, Muse, in Newton's second law of motion, force is equal to mass times what?
Acceleration?
Oh, he got one! Hot damn! That a boy. He avoided wearing the collar, but Paulie, if I'm not mistaken, not good at math, you'll have to help me here. If you miss 2 out of 3, that is a losing record, correct?
Yes. That's
Got
correct.
it. Okay, so another losing record for Muse. But I'm trolling, right, Paulie? What I'm doing over here?
I didn't get all wrong.
If we had gotten an anime round, you got them all right. We know that much because you love you some anime. Trivia at Pluckers, both locations tonight. Hey, we're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Love telling you about our friends over at Shawbills, locally owned and operated since 1968 when Mr. Charlie first opened the doors. His daughter, Miss Beth, has carried on that great tradition now. And I love being able to tell you every single day about Shawbills because when it comes to your vehicle, it's how you and your family move about town, move about the country, on vacations, whatever it may be. And Shawbills make sure they take great care of that vehicle for you for as long as you have it. If you need an oil change, they can do it. You need your tires rotated, balancing, alignment, brakes are squeaking, check engine lights on, just air in the tires, they can do it. And they'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. It's their Charlie's dozen. Extended to every single vehicle in your family when you buy tires at Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, been a really good show. Shout out to Shea Dixon, who was here. Mack Chuilli was here in hour 1 from Traction. We talked about Tommy Moffitt. Shea Dixon was here in hour number 2. We went up to New York. Ryan Field, who covers the Giants for WABC, got a closer look at the Saints opponent this weekend, and Russ Mitchell just a bit ago. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. We'll come back with Otter Lock, see what the Otters got on the docket tonight. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Yo, we are counting down to Christmas. Less than 2 weeks away. Not too late to swing on by Clegg's Nursery and get that Christmas tree if you're still thinking about it. You don't have to pull Clark Griswold and go chop down one in your front yard. Just go by Clegg's. They still have a great selection. I mean, after all, you don't want that thing to go into your neighbor's house and then something goes through the window and hits the stereo and gets the carpet all wet. And then before you know it, you got a squirrel in your house that's jumping on your neighbor, and then she's slugging her boyfriend or fiance, whatever it might be, in the face. That would be terrible. Just go to Clegg's. They'll take care of it, man. They got Christmas trees, and they actually are discounting their remaining trees right now. 25% off their remaining Christmas trees. So if you're interested in a live Christmas tree, get on by Clegg's Nursery, any of their 4 locations. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Also, remember, great gift ideas for anyone on your list at Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Plucker's. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks. Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Oddfather himself, Jimmy Otter. How are you?
We're doing fine. Tomorrow night is the company holiday party. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, tonight is the football Sunday holiday party. Whoa! At the Odd House. Hello, Rohan.
At the Odd House.
Ladies.
At the Odd House. It's gonna be a hoot, no doubt.
So listen, at the football Sunday the holiday party, Rohan and I have been hard putting our heads together, and we got a cross sport money line parlay.
Okay, let's go.
What we got, Ro? We're gonna go with the Bills. L's in a row, baby. L's on the row. Fat boy Todd, if people call him fat, he's ready to play. So go ahead, L's. Okay, college hoops. Who we got, Ro? Creighton. The only real school is playing basketball tonight, the Blue Jays. That's what school. And then we're going to go on the ice to close it out.
Woo! I'm a big fan of this, but I'm not this.
Penguins. Pelicans, Penguins, Creighton, money line parlay.
Hey, I'm trying to write all this down and try to get the odds. Do you know what the odds are off the top there, Otter, at DraftKings? Huh? What did he say?
It's hot. It's hot. Pelicans are getting ready to go now.
All right. Yeah, they let's see. All right, so Pelicans are minus 265.
Right.
Let's see. Creighton is. I'm trying. Creighton, that's the women. This is Creighton minus 1,100.
Right, and Penguins minus 148.
And the Penguins are minus 148. Good call. Okay, so the 3-team parlay is plus 151.
Oh, stealing.
Beautiful.
Stealing.
1 minute remaining.
We're stealing at plus 151. All right, I'm in. Pels, Creighton, and Penguins money line parlay. Where are you? Well, where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Police Novidan, Rohan.
This sounds like a party of two. Is it just the two of you there? Did anybody else show up?
Worm's here, too.
That's how you worry about 3.
So it's a party of 3? I mean, is Hanny coming later? Is he gonna? Is Island Hanny showing up?
Overservice. No. Yeah.
I have no idea what is going on at the Odd household right now. All right, Otter, Rowe, y'all have a good night. Enjoy the football Sunday party. Pels, Creighton, and the Penguins, a money line parlay. Thank you, Otter. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Muse, Paulie, y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Hey, listen, if you want to look and feel your best, think of it, to look and feel your best. They can help. Maybe it's hormone replacement therapy. You probably heard about it, maybe not sure what it is, or if you'd even be a candidate. It's so easy. A blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for HRT. And then you get a weekly treatment. You don't need an appointment. You just walk in, get a weekly injection, and pay and walk out. It's affordable, it's safe, and it'll get you to healthy levels. You'll be under the watchful eye of Dr. Todd Howell. Dr. Howell, was in medicine as an ER doctor, an emergency room doctor, now has the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana practice in Baton Rouge and in Lafayette. So if you want to look and feel like your younger self, it can help at the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
Thank you, Acadiana, for over 56 years of allowing Corvell Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corvell Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside.